Wang Yu traveled through a different world and not only took his brother's Kirin Pearl at the beginning, but was also judged by the Heavenly Dao as an intruder and cursed. Buff 1. Curse of the Heavenly Way. The chosen person in the world will instinctively have evil thoughts towards you and hate you from the bottom of their heart. If they kill you, they will receive rewards from the Heavenly Way. Buff 2. Good luck has no chance. You have been rejected by the Heavenly Way, and your luck has turned into zero. Adventures, opportunities, and will have nothing to do with you. Buff 3. Balance of the Heavenly Way. The Heavenly Way is the fundamental principle, and all things are balanced. If you lose, you will gain. Based on the first two buffs, if you defeat the chosen person, you can plunder a certain proportion of their chi. If you kill the chosen person, you will gain 1/10 of their original power. Is it certain that a villain without a golden finger in a protagonist's aura cannot defeat the protagonist? Wang Yu said he wants to give it a try. Scrap material flow, rebirth flow, invincible flow, fancy abuse of the master, various counter routines. This is a different story. Keywords of the novel. This villain is exceptionally cautious without pop-ups. This villain is exceptionally cautious. Download the complete TXT collection, and this villain is exceptionally cautious in reading the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Starting with taking my brother's ultimate bone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Starting with taking my brother's ultimate bone. Pain. The heart-wrenching pain. Wang Yu wanted to struggle, but found himself unable to move at all. I can't even open my eyes. What's going on? Didn't I sleep at my older sister's house? It should be filled with warm and fragrant jade in one's arms. Why does the body experience such pain? Why is the bed under me so hard and cold? His consciousness gradually became clear. Did you encounter the legendary fairy jumping? Jie Yaozi doesn't use anesthesia, it's too careless. Be good. It hurts just once, and my mother won't let you hurt again in the future. Wang Yu felt a tender little hand gently caressing him, with a clear and pleasant voice. She calls herself your mother. Doesn't his mother's voice sound like this? Hand, isn't it possible to be so tender? Suddenly, his brain went dizzy, and a flood of memories flooded into his mind. The Shenwu dynasty. Prince Shenwu. Is this a time travel for me? Am I the protagonist in the novel? Wang Yu was greatly surprised in his heart, and then he was overjoyed. Even the pain on his body seemed to have decreased slightly. But as he scrutinized those unfamiliar memories, the joy in his heart gradually dissipated. His father was Xianwei Ho, the great general of the Shenwu Emperor, and his mother was the maid of the Empress when she was in distress. They were as close as sisters and were given the surname Wu by the Empress, Wu Yuling. He has been cherished by countless people since childhood and has grown up with a golden key. Their qualifications are also very good. This world is a fantasy world, where people can practice martial arts, swallow the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and condense their cultivation. Gathering Qi realm, transforming spirit realm, condensing Dan realm, transforming from the mortal realm, respectful realm. Although Wang Yu was born as a playboy and did not like to cultivate, he now has a state of gathering Qi and reaching the 4th level under the accumulation of various cultivation resources. This is not the protagonist. It seems like an experienced monster on the protagonist's upgrade journey. Zhou Lao. Is this grafting method really effective? Yu seems to be in a lot of pain. That voice once again sounded in Wang Yu's ear, with deep concern. Taking away the fate of others and returning it to oneself is a method of changing one's destiny against heaven, and naturally one will suffer some hardships. Madam, please rest assured. This is just a temporary phenomenon of exclusion. Once the Crown Prince's body is fully integrated with it, everything will be fine. At that time, the Crown Prince will become a genius in heaven and become the supreme youth. An elderly voice rang out in Wang Yu's ear. Grafting. Changing one's destiny against the heavens. Exclusion. Completely absorbed. Youth supreme. Upon hearing these words, Wang Yu's heart was greatly shaken. Is it true that I have taken off my brother's supreme bone? Where are my double pupils? Star. Amp, *% DDS. Detected that soul does not belong to the current world, qualitative as soul invasion warning. Please leave the current world immediately, otherwise you will be severely punished, warning again. Please leave the current world immediately. What? Punishment. Listening to the electronic synthesis sound in his ear, Wang Yu felt like he had been pranked. These damn grandsons, even if Jie Yaozi doesn't get anesthesia, he's still playing pranks on himself. Passive buff generation completed. Buff 1, Curse of the Heavenly Way. You are cursed by the Heavenly Way, and all the chosen people will instinctively have evil thoughts towards you. They will hate you from the bottom of their hearts, and if they kill you, they will receive rewards from the Heavenly Way. Buff 2, Good Luck has no chance. You have been rejected by the Heavenly Way, and your luck has turned into 0. Adventures and opportunities will have nothing to do with you. Buff 3. Heavenly Dao Balance. The Heavenly Dao is the fundamental principle, and all things are balanced. If there is loss, there will be gain. Based on the first 2 buffs, if you fail, the chosen person from heaven can plunder a certain proportion of their energy. This is external energy and is not affected by buff 2. Since it is not owned by you, it cannot be regenerated after consumption. If the chosen person's energy is plundered, it will not be able to recover naturally. You will gain 1/10 of its original power by killing the chosen person from heaven. Without waiting for Wang Yu to come to his senses, a fierce pain several times greater than now struck. He felt his blood burning and boiling, as if his whole body was about to explode. He wanted to struggle, but his body couldn't move. Zhou Lao. Madam, don't panic. This is the fusion of Qilin's essence and blood with the Crown Prince, in the process of transforming the Crown Prince's body. Zhou Lao spoke up and comforted Wu Yuling. In his murky old eyes, there were flashes of brilliance. The Crown Prince has been taking various heavenly and earthly treasures all year round, and those medicinal powers have all been dormant in his limbs and bones. Now, stimulated by the Qilin's essence and blood, the Crown Prince can not only become an unparalleled heavenly pride, but also greatly enhance his strength. It's better to be like this. Otherwise, you know the consequences. Wu Yuling let out a cold snort. The screams from her son made her heart ache, and she regretted her decision. Obviously, she didn't expect Wang Yu to suffer so much. If the Crown Prince has any shortcomings, I will commit suicide in front of my wife. Zhou bowed and bowed. Ah! After howling for over 3 hours, Wang Yu's voice suddenly stopped abruptly. That maddening pain has gone away like a tide. At this moment, Wang Yu felt like he was back in the arms of his older sister, warm and fragrant, very comfortable. Warm currents flowed through his body one after another, repairing his wounds. Wang Yu's eyes rolled and finally opened. What caught the eye was a stunning face, looking at him with a concerned expression. Are you okay? Are you feeling any discomfort? Mother. I'm okay. Wang Yu instinctively called out to his mother, struggling to get up. Crown Prince, don't worry. Please lie down for a while longer and wait for the Qilin's essence and blood to fully merge with you. Upon seeing this, Mr. Zhou quickly approached and advised. Wang Yu nodded and looked at the beautiful woman. Mother. What exactly happened? Why am I here? What's going on with the Qilin's blood essence? This Wu Yuling looked at Zhou Lao with some embarrassment. Zhou nodded at him. I know you've suffered this time, but it's really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't want you to just miss it. Wu Yuling let out a long sigh and looked at her precious son with some heartache. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yes. Wu Yuling nodded and patiently explained. Among the children of the Wang family, there is a peerless heavenly pride who awakens the true body of the Qilin. This is the ultimate constitution, and those who possess this constitution can be called the supreme youth. Zhou Lao once learned an ancient secret method that can take out the newly formed Kirin beads from his body, graft them into your body, and turn you into the true Kirin body. However, this method must be carried out within 10 days of its awakening when the Kirin Pearl has not fully fused with it. This opportunity is too rare, mother. At this point, she looked apologetically at Wang Yu and gently combed his messy hair with her hand. I'm sorry, Yuer. I didn't expect this process to be so dangerous and cause you so much pain. Well, it's okay. Are you also doing it for the child? Wang Yu said so, but in his heart, he felt a wave of slander. Your unlucky son has already been hiccuped and caught a cold by you. After all, he himself is an experienced pack, but he doesn't have atmospheric luck to protect himself. Zhou Lao, is Yuer really okay now? Wu Yuling is still a bit uneasy. Zhou Lao reached out and took Wang Yu's pulse, with a satisfied smile on his face. The fusion is very good. Congratulations to the Crown Prince, madam. The Crown Prince's current cultivation has reached the 8 levels of gathering qi. Oh. That's great. Upon hearing this, Wu Yuling was overjoyed. Wang Yu is also very satisfied. This has just merged, and after a few days of seclusion, perhaps it will be the 9 realms of gathering qi. He has now dug up his younger brother's Kirin Pearl, which is already the true Qilin body and the supreme youth. The future is limitless. Suddenly, Wang Yu's pupils tightened sharply and he quickly asked. Mother. What about that tribe member? How is he doing? End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Chasing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 Chasing, he. Wu Yuling furrowed her brows and said, of course I sent him home. Now that his Qilin true body is useless, rest assured. My mother will compensate him well in the future. Send it home. Wang Yu trembled all over and said, Mother. Immediately gather people and horses, I want to eradicate the root cause. Ah. This Wu Yuling is a bit embarrassed. She is not a malicious person herself. For her son's sake, she dug up the Qilin Pearl and drained the Qilin essence blood, which was already very cruel. If we kill someone again, it would be too inhumane. Not to mention, that child is still from the Wang family. She had originally planned to make him rich and prosperous throughout his life. Mom, go quickly. Wang Yu struggled to get up. All right. Yuer, don't move, just follow your mother. Wu Yuling sighed and walked out helplessly. Zhou Lao, you can accompany me to go later. Yes. An hour later, when Wang Yu led his troops to Wang Han's house, the buildings were already empty. Crown Prince. 1 day ago, Wang Han's parents took him out of the city and heard that they were going to take him outside to seek medical treatment. After inquiring about the news, the guards came to report. Sure enough. Wang Yu clenched his fist and said, do you know which direction you're running in? Guard. They set off from the west gate and, according to the defending soldiers, they headed towards Ninggu town. Okay. Immediately activate the secret forces of the Marquis's mansion, fully investigate the whereabouts of Wang Han and his entourage, notify my mother, and tell her that I am in danger of my life. Ask her to enter the palace and ask the Empress to send me a top expert. The rest, follow me. In the inn a middle-aged beautiful woman is holding a soup and feeding a young man in bed. Although the young man's face was as weak as gold paper, his gaze was incredibly resolute. Mom. I'm fine, let the child come by himself. Honor. The beautiful woman shed tears and said, I'm sorry, it's my mother who's useless. She didn't protect you well. The young man is Wang Han, while the beautiful woman is his mother, Li Lingjun. Mother. It's not your fault. Wang Han shook his head and said, it's just a bead, just give it to him. The supreme cannot be determined by a single bead. Okay. You are truly my cold child. I will definitely cure you. Come on. Drink the medicine. Speaking, Li Lingjun started feeding medicine again. After taking a bowl of soup and medicine, Wang Han's face finally regained a slight redness. Madam. Something's wrong. Wang Han's father, Wang Dong, broke in with a very serious expression. What's wrong? Li Lingjun furrowed his brow slightly. The crown prince led troops to surround the inn and asked us to go out to pay respects. Bullying people too much. What else does he want to do? Li Lingjun's apricot eyes were wide open, burning with anger. Let's go out and take a look. Maybe it's to compensate. Wang Dong let out a long sigh. Compensation. The beautiful woman sneered and said, isn't it that he still wants to return my son's Kirin Pearl? Outside the inn the Wang family army has 3 floors inside, and the outer 3 floors surround it tightly. The guests in the inn were all looking panicked. Just now, the shopkeeper came forward and was directly killed by the leading young master with 1 sword. Who exactly is this person? So arrogant, this is under the feet of the emperor. I have met him, Prince Shenwu, Wang Yu. Damn it. It's him. Hurry up and hide. This is a notorious playboy in the imperial capital. When Marquis Shenwu was here, he still restrained himself. Now that Marquis Shenwu is on an expedition, he has completely let himself go. The guests were whispering and discussing. Most people have heard of Wang Yu's notorious name. Oh. In the corner, a middle-aged man raised his eyebrows and instinctively looked out the door. Wang Dong and his wife helped Wang Han out of the inn. Salute to Wang Yu on horseback. I have seen the crown prince. Wang Yu stood tall and looked down at the 3 people. His gaze focused on Wang Han. This is a teenager around 12 years old, although he looks very weak, his face is resolute and his eyes are sharp. There is a hint of the protagonist's temperament. Kill. No nonsense, Wang Yu ordered directly. Shio. 6 guards rushed over. Each one possesses the power to transform the peak of the spiritual realm. And Wang Han's parents are just a heaven transforming the spiritual realm. Crown Prince. What do you mean by this? The 2 were shocked and drew their swords to resist while questioning. However, Wang Yu ignored them at all, and his gaze was fixed on Wang Han from beginning to end. Ah! Just a few moves, Wang Dong's arm was chopped off and blood sprayed. Get out of here. Li Lingjun let out a loud shout upon seeing the situation, and surprisingly unleashed a powerful spiritual power that shook the 6 of them back. In the next moment, her eyes turned red, and the temperature around her rapidly increased. What? Beside Wang Yu, Zhou Lao, who was like an old monk, suddenly opened his eyes filled with shock. Li Lingjun's cultivation unexpectedly broke through the realm of spiritual transformation and reached the realm of condensed pills. Take the crown prince back. Yes. The guards protected Wang Yu, retreated 200 meters, and erected a shield wall in front of him. Kill. Li Lingjun let out a soft drink and swung out his sword. Ah! The guard who had previously cut off Wang Dong's arm was unexpectedly split in half by her sword. Just as she swung her sword and attacked the others, Zhou finally took action. He held a dagger and blocked her attack. What secret technique are you using? How could you forcibly enhance so much strength? Zhou frowned and said, No. You are already in the condensing pill realm, but you have been severely injured, causing the realm to degenerate. Humph, Ningdan realm. If I were in my prime, killing you would be like slaughtering pigs and dogs. Wang Han's mother seemed to have suddenly resorted to cheating and wielded one attack after another. Zhou Laonai is an old man from the Marquis' mansion, a master in the grand and perfect realm of condensing pills. He was suddenly beaten and became a bit flustered. Kill. On the other side, Wang Dong seemed to suddenly lose control, his cultivation skyrocketed, and he even used his own strength to resist 5 masters who had fully transformed the spiritual realm. How could this be possible? Good guy. What kind of people are these couple? How could they have such strength? I haven't seen it before, but since Wang Yu brought such a luxurious lineup, it's definitely not a simple character. Unexpectedly, this playboy's second-generation ancestor was quite careful and even invited the existence of the Condor realm. The melon-eating crowd hid aside, whispering their opinions. On the battlefield, Wang Han remained motionless and stood straight. Staring intently at Wang Yu in the distance, as if to imprint his appearance deeply in his heart. Wang Yu felt a tingling sensation on his scalp. This protagonist is indeed not someone who can be easily eliminated. Donga, I'll stop them. You take Honor first. Li Lingjun used a powerful attack and killing technique to drive back Zhou Laoho, and then helped Wang Dong to clear the siege, leaving him and Wang Hanhu behind and instructing him. I'm with you. A hint of determination flashed in Wang Dong's eyes. If you don't leave, what will Honor do? Take him away quickly, I will catch up later. If you stay, it will only drag me down. Li Lingjun urged. Wang Dong glanced at Wang Han and gritted his teeth, saying, okay. I'll go. He has made up his mind that once his son is settled, he will come to pick up his wife. Do you want to leave? Can you leave? Zhou snorted coldly and came over with the guards to kill him. Your opponent is me. Li Lingjuan's spiritual power erupted all over her body. Phoenix wings soaring in the sky. With a single sword, a huge flame phoenix flew out of him and charged towards Zhou and others, forcing them to defend themselves. Let's go. Li Lingjun spat out a mouthful of blood and unleashed a spiritual power, enveloping Wang Dong and the others, and flying them out. Xiu xiu xiu, at this moment, over 100 archers on Wang Yu's side were simultaneously shooting arrows. Humph, out of measure. Li Lingjun disdains to sneer. A mere arrow, in front of her spiritual shield, is just a floating cloud. Ah! However, soon, a scream came from her ear. That voice, she's too familiar with it. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. He must be crazy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. He must be crazy, how could it be possible? Looking at Wang Dong, who was forced back with 6 or 7 arrows inserted in his body, Li Lingjuan's eyes were full of disbelief. Is it a spirit-destroying arrow? It's an important strategic material, how dare you use it? The killing spirit arrow can easily pierce through spiritual techniques. Even experts in the realm of transformation dare not resist it hard. However, its materials are very scarce and difficult to refine. The vast divine martial empire can only produce 100,000 pieces per year. This is an extremely precious strategic material that can be used without authorization, but it will be beheaded. Why don't you dare? Wang Yu sneered and said, today, my crown prince has already set up a net of heaven and earth, and even if you insert your wings, it will be difficult for you to escape. Damn it! Before Li Lingjun could speak, Zhou Lao and his companions attacked again. Now that Wang Dong is seriously injured and has lost her combat ability, she has to face both Zhou Lao and 5 masters who have successfully transformed the spiritual realm, as well as prevent attacks from the spirit-destroying arrow. She is too difficult. Why? Why did Wang Yu achieve this level? Didn't he already get what he wanted? Li Lingjun couldn't understand at all. But Wang Han never said a word from beginning to end, he stared at Wang Yu like a venomous snake. What are you waiting for? Shoot. Wang Yu glanced at the archers. Yes. Shoo shoo. More than 100 spirit-destroying arrows shot past. Target Wang Dong and his son. Damn it. Li Lingjun forcefully enhances his spiritual power and wants to unleash his ultimate moves again. Did you die as an old man? Zhou Lao snorted coldly, caught the flaw, and slapped her chest with a palm. Puff. Li Lingjun sprayed a mouthful of blood mist and fell in front of Wang Dong's father and son. Ah! She screamed and knocked them down, intending to use her body to block their attack. Is it done? Wang Yu instinctively clenched his fist and his breathing became rapid. Shoo, shoo, shoo. At this moment, a sudden mutation occurred. Inside the inn, a large number of flying needles were shot out, colliding with the spirit-destroying arrows, making a clanging sound and shooting them down one by one. Who? Old Zhou dodged and rushed in. Then, at a faster speed than entering, it flew backwards. He slid on the ground for several tens of meters before stabilizing his figure. With a splash, he sprayed out a mouthful of blood, covered his chest, and looked towards the inn with a frightened expression. At this moment, a middle-aged man slowly walked out of it. He was dressed in a white robe, with long flowing hair and a fairy-like demeanor, almost writing the words, "I am an extraordinary expert," on his face. Transforming into the mortal realm. Zhou looked at the person and said word by word. This person is actually a master of transforming into the mortal realm. Perseverance and courage, fearlessness in the face of danger, good. At a young age, I have such a heart, good. 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 The man walked up to Wang Han and carefully examined him before nodding in satisfaction. This young man, I am Sanyin Zongbao. A token flew out of his hand and suspended in front of the shield wall. Wang Yu waved his hand and gestured for everyone to disperse. He reached out to take the token and squinted his eyes slightly. Surprisingly, it's the great power of Sanyin sect. Now Wang Yu is going to eat his cake. Yeah. Sanyin sect is a large sect, and those who are respected are in charge. Not to mention Wang Yu, even his father, Marquis Shenwu, may not be able to provoke him. The young man, who was valued by the influential figures of Sanyin sect, had a bright future ahead of him. Afterwards, he will definitely come to seek revenge. This black sheep is in big trouble. It's not necessarily true. Marquis Shenwu is a peerless hero, and the royal army is invincible. If they really launch a fierce attack, the army will be overwhelming, and Sanyin sect is likely to be defeated. Yeah. Marquis Shenwu only has a son like Wang Yu, who values him like a precious treasure. If he were to be touched, Marquis Shenwu would definitely be caught dead. Everyone in the inn was discussing and many people were somewhat gloating, obviously not very pleased with Wang Yu. But there are also some people who have expressed different opinions. The objective fact is presented here. Although the army belongs to the country, Marquis Shenwu has led the army to fight for many years, and the Wang family army is always ready for him. As long as he gives orders, no one will disobey. But unless absolutely necessary, Marquis Shenwu would not do so. After all, it would be equivalent to rebellion, and the royal family would be annihilated by 9 tribes. Sanyin sect. I'm afraid you won't be able to protect the people that this crown prince wants to kill. Wang Yu sneered disdainfully and said that he had smashed the token in his hand onto the ground, stepping into the mud. The whole scene was as silent as death. Obviously, no one expected that this Wang Yu would be so arrogant. Even Sanyin sect doesn't take it seriously. I want to see who can stop me from taking him away. The man's eyes were icy cold, and his spiritual power churned throughout his body. I will personally seek an explanation from Marquis Shenwu regarding today's matter. You should take one and show it to me. Wang Yu clapped his hands. Rows of archers approached, roughly estimating that there were over 500. In every arrow pot, there are no less than 10 spirit-destroying arrows. These are all elite members of the Wang family army. Once fired, they can shoot out all 10 spirit-destroying arrows within 30 seconds. That is to say, men have to face more than 5,000 spirit-destroying arrows. And it is still under the premise of protecting the Wang Han family. Even if he is a master in the realm of transformation, it is impossible for him to achieve such a thing. The guests in the inn were stunned. Wang Han's parents, and even Wang Han, were stunned. Even the man in the realm of transformation was stunned. Wang Yu, are you crazy? Surrounding two beings in the spirit transformation realm, along with a dragging oil bottle, deploying a large army and bringing the experts of the condensing pill realm to a great extent, is not enough. Surprisingly, they have prepared so many spirit destruction arrows. Apart from going crazy, they couldn't think of a second reason. I don't believe you dare me. Before the man finished speaking, a large amount of arrow rain poured down, like a rainstorm pear blossom. With such a large scale attack, he couldn't escape with anyone. Even he himself would be in danger. Capture the thief first, capture the king. The man made a decisive decision and offered a shield-shaped spiritual weapon to block Wang Han and his companions. Later, his spiritual power exploded and he braved the arrow rain and rushed towards Wang Yu. The distance between the two is not far, and he is confident that he can capture them. The crisis will naturally resolve at that time. Shoo shoo. The arrow pierced through his protective barrier, but he did not dodge, only avoided the vital parts and continued to charge towards Wang Yu. In just over 200 meters, he had already been hit by several arrows, but he managed to break through successfully. Little beast, don't stop me yet. He reached out and grabbed towards Wang Yu. However, facing the strong ones in the realm of transformation, Wang Yu did not show any panic on his face. At the critical moment, a person suddenly emerged from the crowd, and a big handprint exploded, forcing the man to retreat. The man's face changed greatly. My eyes were filled with disbelief. How could it be? Among the army, there are even experts in the realm of transformation, and it seems that the realm is much higher than him. Bang! After this delay, the shield he sacrificed finally couldn't hold up and shattered. Wang Han and his family were nailed to the ground by the spirit-destroying arrow. His parents' Dantian Qi Si was shot through, their cultivation was exhausted, and their lives were hanging on the line. Wang Han was even more miserable. In addition to being pierced by 3 arrows on each of his limbs, he also had 4 arrows inserted into his body, but each arrow avoided the vital points, leaving him with his last breath. Jia, I can't believe there are really experts. A person dressed in eunuch attire and with a duckling voice, who looked 50 or 60 years old, bowed to Wang Yu and said, I have seen the crown prince. Don't. I can't bear it. Wang Yu quickly reached out and helped the old eunuch up. The old eunuch's eyes flashed with satisfaction, and a friendly smile appeared on his face. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Oh my goodness. What exactly happened? The adults of Tsanyan's sect have been repelled. Who is this old eunuch? I'm sure he's also a high-level figure. If I had to say that Wang Yuluzi is really wild, even the killing spirit arrow would have been fine. He even invited a powerful figure. To deal with this family of 3, using such strength, I'd better go back to sleep. If I accidentally make him unhappy, I'll be dead for nothing. The onlookers were whispering, some of whom had already sneaked into the guest room to sleep, afraid of offending Wang Yu. This place is surrounded and can't get out, otherwise they would have run away long ago. Even the guards are not calm anymore. A few leaders, look at me, I look at you, and your eyes are full of fear. Did the crown prince have already calculated all of this? But where does his intelligence come from? Who the hell are you? The man's gaze was fixed on Wang Yu. The most bewildered person present is him. He came to the imperial capital for business this time, whether it was eating at the inn or wanting to protect Wang Han, it was all a last-minute initiative. Wang Yu couldn't have known in advance and made all kinds of preparations for it. But if it weren't for knowing in advance, and only dealing with this family of 3, would it be necessary for him to bring out such a huge number of spirit-destroying arrows, and even invite a great power to transform into a mortal realm? At this moment, he was surprised to find that he had developed a slight fear of Wang Yu. "I am your father," Wang Yu directly retorted. Everyone gave a fierce slap at the corners of their mouths, and even the old eunuch's expression became strange. "You want to die?" In the man's eyes, a huge momentum erupted from him, overwhelming Wang Yu like a mountain and a sea. The old eunuch took a step forward and stood in front of Wang Yu, shouting loudly. "According to the Empress Dowager's edict, declare the Marquis of Wei to fight for the country and embark on an expedition. Whoever dares to attack the Crown Prince will be killed without mercy." "Damn it!" The man's fist clenched with a clattering sound. "Please save my son's life, sir." Wang Dong turned his head and looked at the man, pleading. This is the only person he can rely on now. "Humph. I have taken note of this matter and will seek your advice when my injury recovers." In the end, the man chose to give up, put down a harsh word, and wanted to run away. However, the archer's spirit-destroying arrows were all aimed at him. "Li Gonggang, did you just say that the Empress ordered that those who attack this crown prince will be killed without mercy?" Wang Yu looked at Duke Li. "That's right." Li Gonggang instinctively nodded. "If you don't kill this thief yet, he has already taken action against me twice." "Ah." Li Gongang's mouth widened in shock. "Wang Yu. Don't bully others too much, it's Zhangyan sect behind me." The man was completely angry. "I have already admitted to being cowardly, but he still stubbornly bites and refuses to let go. Is he a crazy dog?" Li Gonggang is also in some difficulty. Setting aside the identity of a man, he is a truly powerful figure. Although he is injured now and his level is higher than him, if the other party gives him a desperate fight, he will also be in trouble. "Grandpa, don't forget that this person is a great power. If you don't kill him now, he will definitely retaliate in the future." Wang Yu leaned into Duke Li's ear and whispered. "You are stronger than him now, but he is younger than you, and you are a free agent, father.in.law. Remember, 30 years in the east and 30 years in the west." Li Gongang's whole body trembled, and a hint of brilliance flashed in his eyes. "All right. Today, I will eliminate this calamity on behalf of the Crown Prince." Wang Yu cursed at the old fox in his heart and arched his hand at him, saying, "There will definitely be thick rewards in the future." "Damn it." The man let out a loud shout, and his spiritual power erupted in his body, soaring into the sky. Shua 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 shua, a large number of spirit-destroying arrows shot across the sky and earth. "Sleeping slot. You mad is crazy." At this moment, the man's heart was shattered, and he had to stop and resist the spirit-destroying arrow. After a round of arrow rain, he was hit with 2 more arrows. I was about to fly away again, but by this time, Li Gonggang had already arrived. "Leave it for the miscellaneous family. Old eunuch, should I be afraid of you?" The man gritted his teeth, activated a secret technique, and strengthened his skills, welcoming Duke Li. The aftermath of the battle between 2 experts in the realm of transformation is not something that ordinary people can bear. However, both of them have a very tacit understanding, and the more they fight, the farther they go. Li Gonggang is unwilling to accidentally harm Wang Yu and his guards. The man, on the other hand, is afraid of the ambush of the spirit-destroying arrow. At this point, the only reliance for the 3 of Wang Han was gone. The army advanced and surrounded them in groups. When Wang Yu walked forward, he still looked at him coldly and spat out 3 words. "Why? It's just a matter of causality. In the next life, be an ordinary person." As he finished speaking, Wang Yu suddenly took a brisk step forward and swung his big knife, cutting off Wang Han's head with 1 blow. Everyone scratched their heads. Shouldn't they be pretending to be forced in a lengthy manner at this time? I feel a bit unsuitable. Honor. Only Wang Dong and his wife burst into tears. But Wang Yu trembled all over and his eyes widened. He felt a mysterious force pouring into his body. Very comfortable. His cultivation quickly broke through from the 8th level of Qi gathering to the 9th level of Qi gathering. At the same time, he clearly felt that his true Qi was running much smoother, and even his mind seemed to be much clearer. Is this the power of the origin? Is it equivalent to clicking on all attribute points in the game? Unfortunately, Wang Han's cultivation is too weak. If this is a great ability, wouldn't he just condense the pill directly? Wang Yu. Your Marquis's mansion is bullying people too much. Li Lingjun suddenly stopped crying, like a madman. My son is a talented person in heaven. One day, he will return and destroy your Shenwu Marquis's mansion, shattering your mother and son into countless pieces. Zhou Lao and others shook their heads helplessly. My head has been chopped off, why are you still returning? This woman, I'm afraid she's crazy. Someone. Chop Wang Han's body into meat sauce for me. Wang Yu ordered. Li Lingjuan's voice suddenly stopped once again, staring foolishly at Wang Han's body. The guards received orders and slashed at Wang Han's body with their swords, quickly completing the mission. Burn it for me. Burn it to ashes. Wang Yu ordered again. Everyone. This is too fierce, isn't it? What a great grudge and grudge. How could it make a person's bones disappear? A diner muttered softly. In this world, burial is important, but cremation is not popular. Its meaning is to fly into ashes and disappear, which is even more ruthless than the execution of Ling Qi. You. As Wang Han turned into ashes, Li Lingjun seemed to suddenly come to her senses, with a faint red light flashing in her eyes. Jiuyo Yin spirit, the gods and demons of the heavens, sacrificed my remaining body, burned my divine soul, sacrificed my bloodline, 3 souls and 7 souls, and reshaped my golden body. Stop her. Wang Yu was greatly surprised, but it was already too late, and Li Lingjuan's body ignited spontaneously. Ah! A guard slashed past, and a red flame spread along the blade, igniting his body. He screamed and rolled on the ground, while several people beside him were touched and his body was ignited. Quickly disperse. This is like the 9 netherworld flames, once stained, the soul will be ignited. Zhou's face changed greatly and he pulled Wang Yu back quickly. Zhou Lao. What technique did she use? Wang Yu looked nervously at Zhou Lao. I don't know, it should be some kind of sacrificial secret technique. Zhou frowned and said, but why didn't she launch an attack? 3 souls and 7 souls, reshaping the golden body. Wang Yu murmured these 2 sentences in his mouth, recalling what the woman had said before. Suddenly, his eyes widened and his heart skipped a beat. Is it difficult for this woman to sacrifice herself and be reborn for Wang Han's lifetime? Although this is nonsense, it's a fantasy world. He can all travel through time, why can't Wang Han, a protagonist-like character, be reborn? Make every effort to save Wang Dong, don't let him die. Wang Yu, who had regained his senses, had the first reaction of holding on to Wang Dong's trump card. His face was very ugly. I was careless. He was still too careless, focusing all his attention on Wang Han and ignoring his parents. Why leave 2 if you want to defend yourself? Can't we just leave 1? When he discovered Li Lingjuan's supernatural powers, he should have killed her. At the same time, the power he mobilized was not strong enough, and time was too rushed. If we invite the Venerable, we should be able to stop this strange secret technique, right? Wang Yu was reflecting in his heart, while secretly making up his mind to be even more cautious in the future. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Your father may be dying. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Your father may be dying. Shenwu Imperial Court, Empress's dormitory. A woman with a phoenix crown on her head and a phoenix robe on her body, exuding unparalleled elegance and beauty, and her country and city are unparalleled. In front of her, the old eunuch Li Gonggang bowed and stood up, reporting one by one what had happened in the inn before. Oh! Surprisingly, there is still the power of transforming into a mortal realm appearing. A hint of surprise flashed in the Empress's eyes and she said, "It's truly the Qilin's true body. That person named Wang Han seems to have great luck to protect himself. It is indeed a material that can be made, and his mother is not simple either. Her previous cultivation level was definitely extremely high. It's not surprising that a true Qilin can be born." The Empress nodded, but didn't pay much attention. The divine martial empire is vast in territory and abundant in resources, with abundant talents. It's just a spiritual body, and it's not worth her attention. Empress. On the side of Canyin sect. Li Gonggang was a bit uneasy. Canyin's sect is powerful. He caused chaos in our divine martial emperor dynasty. If he kills him, he will kill him. It's not a big deal. A domineering aura emanated from the Empress. The Crown Prince of Shenwu, in order to quell the chaos, used a large number of spirit-destroying arrows. This loss is something that our palace will still demand compensation from them. Good guy, she truly is the Empress. In just a few words, she turns black into white. That little thing, it's a bit interesting and doesn't seem to be as useless as it looks. Maybe it will be of great use to me in the future. Yeah. Even the old slave was intimidated by him and inexplicably became his thug. Li Gonggang coughed lightly. Although he had killed the man, he also suffered considerable injuries. Shenwu Marquis' mansion, Wu Yuling listened to Zhou Lao's report and didn't think much at first. With such thorough preparation, it was more than enough to eliminate a small sect. But when he heard the appearance of a master in the realm of transformation, he immediately burst into a cold sweat. Let my mother see if there is any injury. She nervously lifted Wang Yu and looked at him again and again. Mother. I'm fine. Wang Yu took his hand and shook his head with a smile. Thanks to my mother inviting Grandpa Li to the palace, otherwise it would have been very troublesome this time. It's okay, it's okay. Wu Yuling breathed a long sigh of relief and sighed, I never expected that killing a small Wang Han would lead to so many changes. The world of martial artists is too dangerous. In the future, let others do such things. Don't do it yourself. By the way, mother. Didn't you always dislike children's cultivation? When did you become so focused on children's cultivation? Wang Yu asked with some confusion. In my impression, my mother was very doting on me, never asking about his cultivation, and even very resistant to his cultivation. This grafting method is extremely dangerous, causing even the previous Wang Yu to hiccup. Why did she take such a big risk? Madam, it will be said sooner or later. After experiencing life and death, the Crown Prince seems to have matured a lot. In my humble opinion, why not tell him? Zhou Lao spoke out and advised. After pondering for a moment, Wu Yuling nodded and said, your father may be dying. What? Wang Yu sat up straight in one go. I'm about to inherit the title. Don't get excited. I'm just saying it's possible. Wu Yuling helped him and comforted him. What's going on? 7 years ago, your father was ordered to go on an expedition to Beicang. He was unstoppable, destroying 78 villages and slaughtering 200,000 herdsmen in Beicang. He also took over the vast land of the Nashka Mountains and incorporated it into my divine territory, establishing a glorious reputation. In Wu Yuling's eyes, the admiration turned into a lament. But this also aroused the hatred of the herdsmen in Beicang. Their high priest, risking his life and using forbidden spells, cursed your father. Over the years, your father has used various means to suppress the curse, but now he is almost unable to suppress it. I have received news that the wife of the governor of Qin Shan County has a precious treasure called Death Token, which can relieve your father's curse. However, this is a dowry passed down from his husband's family for generations. If you want to obtain it, you may have to marry her daughter into the family. My father's curse was only achieved by expanding the territory for the Shenwu Emperor. Your Majesty's decree is to demand it. Do you dare not comply with this Qin Shan County magistrate? Wang Yu asked in confusion. The Crown Prince is unaware that the governor of Qin Shan County comes from an ancient family of cultivators with a huge influence. His wife is also the legitimate daughter of Duke Wei. His Majesty cannot do this. Zhou sighed and said. I asked the Empress to come out as a matchmaker, but they all refused. Wu Yuling let out a long sigh, and a hint of anger flashed in her eyes. Wang Yu frowned and said, their family despises me for having low qualifications. This is a bit like a waste material withdrawal stream, isn't it? Did the previous one have hallucinations? At this moment, Wang Yu felt like he was doing it again. Just evading. Wu Yuling sneered repeatedly, they are not good at refuting the face of the Empress. Let's just use this to argue. It's okay. Now that you are the Qilin true body and your cultivation has also met their requirements, they can't rely on this marriage anymore. So it's like this. Wang Yu nodded and stood up respectfully, saying, this matter concerns the life and death of my father. It is my duty to do so. I will definitely bring the death talisman for my father. Okay. Okay. Wu Yuling lifted her precious son and became more and more satisfied as she looked at him. My feather son is so rich and handsome that the Yi family even despises him. He's really blind. Mom, I just fused the Kirin Pearl and will be closed for a few days to digest the gains. Can you ask someone to prepare the information about Wang Han and my future fiancé A.E.? I'll take a look later. Okay, go to seclusion quickly, don't delay. In the cultivation room, Wang Yu operates his family's inherited techniques and swallows the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. The method of grafting can harm the harmony of heaven, but it will definitely leave hidden dangers. However, he successfully killed Wang Han and plundered 1/10 of his origin. With this origin, he can perfectly blend with the Qilin Pearl and become the true Qilin true body. As time went by, a red light appeared on his body. A Kirin pattern slowly emerges, becoming increasingly clear. Unlike those protagonists who start with low status and high potential, they spend their days working tirelessly for resources. Wang Yu is the crown prince of the Marquis of Shenwu and the only child. He can freely access the wealth accumulated by the Marquis of Xuanwei's mansion for generations. This cultivation room is also the place where Marquis Shenwu cultivates, and it is the gathering place of spiritual energy in the Marquis's mansion. The cultivation environment that the protagonists couldn't even imagine in the early stages was easily accessible to him. Under the nourishment of massive spiritual energy, Wang Yu's Qilin true body was completely stimulated, and the true energy surged. As long as he wanted, he could transform the energy into spirit at any time and step into the realm of spiritual transformation. Will the foundation of transforming spirit not be solid now? Wang Yu changed a fingerprint and felt it was better to press it first. Just as he was preparing to take credit, a sudden mutation occurred. His blood began to boil, and his true qi began to gather. Something is coming out. Wang Yu's eyes widened, feeling that his heavenly court was about to crack open. Yes. You're not mistaken, it's the heavenly court, definitely not the backyard. Is this going to open the sky? Wang Yu felt ecstatic in his heart. Then something really popped out of his heavenly realm, not a third eye, but a small Qilin. Don't be arrogant. Little Qilin let out a cheerful low roar and ran into a pile of natural resources and treasures. He selected a 500-year-old spiritual medicine and started nibbling on it with a click. This is... Wang Yumu was stunned and didn't know what to do for a moment. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. The protagonist Qin Feng. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 6. The protagonist Qin Feng. After Xiaocoquelin finished nibbling on the elixir, a satisfied expression appeared on his face, and he ran back to Wang Yu's side, running around him happily. One force after another surged into Wang Yu's body, and he felt his true qi being triggered and his blood boiling. Is it refining its body for itself? Feeling the changes in his body, Wang Yu expressed some disbelief. But doesn't it mean that practicing physical fitness can be very painful? Why are you not only not uncomfortable, but also very comfortable? Spiritual power and true qi, one inside and one outside, repeatedly refine Wang Yu's body. Although true qi is decreasing, he feels that the quality of true qi has greatly improved. At this moment, Wang Yu truly experienced the terrifying nature of the qilin. Oops! After an hour, little qilin exhausted all his strength and once again penetrated into Wang Yu's heavenly court. Nausea, Wang Yu smelled his body and immediately felt an urge to vomit. At this moment, his whole body was sticky, covered in black impurities, and the taste seemed like aged cake. Not only does it smell bad, but it also irritates the eyes. However, he doesn't have to sneak around like those loser protagonists, and finally find a small stream or river to solve it. In the cultivation room, there is a bathtub with 24-hour flowing hot water. He is happy and can call dozens of beautiful maids to come and rub his back at any time. Being a villain doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with it, does it? Wang Yu stood up and walked into the bathroom. 3 days later, Wang Yu left the pass. Go straight to the study. On his desk, there are 2 pieces of intelligence. Firstly, it's about Wang Han. He comes from a collateral lineage of the Wang family and is 12 years old, which is the age when he can officially practice martial arts. It is believed that when gathering qi, it triggered the blood vessels in the body and stimulated the true body of the qilin. By the way, this world is not some magical novel world, as if everyone is born with various knowledge. Children need to go to school at the age of 5, be able to read and write, and master various basic knowledge. After the age of 12, the body is relatively fully developed. If you want to practice martial arts, you can go to a martial arts academy for a period of 4 years of study, or you can practice at home. If the qualifications are not good, one can enter a literary college to learn deeper literary knowledge. After the age of 16, one can take the imperial examination. Wang Han's father, Wang Dong, was a bodyguard who was born and raised in the imperial capital of the Wang family. My mother, Li Lingjun, was once and now seems to be a ranger. After marrying his father, she has been at home with her husband and children. The specific origin is unknown, and all people familiar with them have been questioned without any useful information. The clue is completely broken. Wang Yu scratched his head irritably. Li Lingjuan's background must be extremely extraordinary. If we could find out, perhaps we could know what secret technique she used that day and whether she could really revive Wang Han. Even the whereabouts of Wang Han can be traced. Sigh, we can only investigate slowly later. Wang Yu sighed and set aside Wang Han's information, then picked up the information for his future wife. This is quite detailed. I think Wu Yuling has been investigating for a long time. There is also a portrait attached inside. This is not even a photo scam, how can you understand it? After a casual glance, Wang Yu threw it aside and carefully examined her information. Yi Qingyu, the legitimate daughter, only, of the governor of Qingshan County, and the granddaughter of the Duke of Wei. Juqingshan County. Has exceptional talent and exceptional talent. At the age of 12, after graduating from a regular college and entering a martial arts academy for only 2 years, one has reached the 7th level of gathering qi. Qin, chess, calligraphy, painting, poetry, song, and prose are all exquisite. During my school years, I formed a team with several classmates and worked together to eliminate several groups of mountain bandits, as well as many illegal organizations that sell children. The information is very detailed, and we have retrieved the specific records of each task she did. There are also copies of her paintings and poems she has created. Wang Yu looked very carefully, almost word by word, even picking up a pen and drawing in circles on it. It's like going back to high school. Qin Feng. In the information, this name appears repeatedly. He is Yi Qingyu's classmate and also a member of Yi Qingyu's team. Although his cultivation level is only in the realm of gathering qi and the 5th grade, he seems to have always existed as a team leader in Yi Qingyu's several missions. There is also information about him. From a small town under the jurisdiction of Qingshan County. The family is a hereditary baron, and that small town is their ancestral fiefdom. Unlike himself, he is not a legitimate son, but an illegitimate descendant, born after a baron's drunkenness with a maid. His childhood can be imagined. Later, due to his exceptional talent in martial arts, he was sent to a martial arts academy at the age of 12, and his life became easier. This it seems a bit like a waste stream. Wang Yu's eyebrows were twisted very tightly. He closed his eyes and carefully deduced in his mind. From the information, it can be seen that Yi Qingyu has a very close relationship with this Qin Feng, otherwise he wouldn't have teamed up with him every time. And in that small team, he has always been the only man, and even a few times, it was a team formed by him and Yi Qingyu alone. If it were to be said that there was no super friendship between the two of them, he wouldn't believe it even if he was killed. If he were to marry Yi Qingyu according to the established route, then this Qin Feng would definitely jump out. At that time, after a series of operations, he was killed and chased by the Marquis's mansion. While fleeing, he practiced leveling and attacked monsters. Later, the king returned and pacified the Marquis's mansion. What a bloody protagonist upgrading routine plot. There are two paths in front of Wang Yu now. Firstly, give up the marriage alliance and find other ways to save his father, or let him live and die on his own. Secondly, strangle the Qin wind in its cradle. Wang Yu hesitated for a moment before decisively choosing the second path. He has been cursed by the heavenly way. If Qin Feng is really the protagonist, even if he admits to being cowardly this time, he will still step on him when he sees him later. Anyway, there will be a battle sooner or later. It's better to trample him to death while he hasn't grown yet. And his father is his biggest reliance now. If his father dies, I'm afraid the protagonists won't have to kill him. The old foxes in the court will gnaw him clean. So, should we send experts or personally lead the way? Wang Yu was once again lost in thought. If someone is sent, there is no risk. Even if they fail, they will not do anything about it. But the power he can currently use is limited, and with the influence of the protagonist's aura, the success rate may be very low. It will be difficult to find Qin Feng when he is driven away. If you go by yourself, although there are risks. But he can personally plan and, under the pretext of protecting his own safety, lead his team and make sufficient preparations. What am I still considering? The protagonist is on the other side. If I don't put in everything I can do at once, how can I kill him? Wang Yu suddenly burst out laughing. The choice was actually made from the beginning. He was just afraid, with a hint of luck in his heart. Requesting recommended tickets, requesting follow-up reading. Thank you, gentlemen, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. Becoming a Bad Person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Becoming a Bad Person. The quiet courtyard is filled with colorful roses. The fragrance of flowers is overflowing, refreshing the heart and spleen. Wu Yuling's favorite is rose. After Marquis Shenwu sets out on the expedition, she will move into this rose garden to live. Wu Yuling only loves roses. Wang Yu vaguely remembered that it seemed to be because the Empress liked it. Why did you come to me if you didn't practice well and digest the gains? Wu Yuling, who was taking care of the roses, deliberately said with a stern face when she saw Wang Yu. My child misses his mother, come and greet you. Wang Yu's face showed a sunny smile. You child, you just have a sweet mouth. On Wu Yuling's stern face, a loving smile immediately appeared. Did you run out of money again? Speaking in a pretentious manner, one is about to pay the bill. No, I have enough money. No money. Wu Yuling frowned slightly and said with some confusion, you've been staying at home these days, haven't you caused any trouble? Wang Yu. Mother, I'm here to find you and help me find a job. A job. Wu Yuling looked up and down at Wang Yu, and her face became a bit nervous. She grabbed Wang Yu's arm with both hands and asked with concern. Is there something wrong with the grafting method? Does your head hurt a lot? Let's take you to the palace and have the imperial physician treat you. As he spoke, he pulled Wang Yu and rushed out. No. Mother, I'm very good, very good. Wang Yu is about to cry. However, Wu Yuling still had a worried expression on her face. Mother. After going through the gates of life and death this time, the child has figured out many things. The father is now in danger, and the child is the only child in the family. He can no longer act recklessly like before. Wang Yu's eyes flickered with a hint of brilliance as he said, my child wants to work hard to pursue a career. In the past, it was my mother who protected me. In the future, it will be my turn to protect my mother. What kind of career are you striving for? This vast marquise mansion is waiting for you to inherit, and I don't need your protection. With the Empress, who dares to bully me? Wu Yuling took out her purse, took out 2 10,000 taels of silver bills from inside, and stuffed them into Wang Yu's hand. Alright, stop making a fuss. You've been at home for a few days and you've been suffocating yourself, haven't you? Let's go play. Wang Yu looked bewildered, it was completely different from what he had imagined. If it weren't for Wu Yuling being his biological mother and having only one child, he would have suspected that Wu Yuling was supporting and killing him. Mother. I'm telling you seriously, the child is about to be engaged soon, so you have to have a position in the government, right? Wang Yu received the silver ticket and said seriously. Okay, good. Wu Yuling shook her head helplessly and said, speak up. What do you want to do? Bad people. Wu Yuling frowned and said, what are you doing as a villain? Not only is it dangerous, but it also offends people. Why don't you go to the palace and serve as the crown prince's attendant? Don't. There are many rules in the palace, and I'm afraid of causing trouble. Bad people have great power and are only responsible to your majesty. Their prestige and development are also important. If I don't care, I will become a bad person. Wang Yu used the coquettish trick of his predecessor's 100 trials of dissatisfaction. Be good, be a bad person, be a bad person. Wu Yuling was so entangled by him that she had no choice but to reluctantly agree. Tiangang Xingguan Yun is your father's confidant and friend. I'll let him plan 100 households for you first. When do you want to report it? Tomorrow. So urgent. Okay. Mom, let Zhou Lao run over later. In the Shenwu dynasty, there were many villains, led by the villainous commander. There were 30.6 heavenly gang and 70.2 earthly sha, and countless villains. Being in charge of driving guards, patrolling and arresting, supervising officials, and wielding great power. To deal with Qin Feng, he needs this layer of skin. With the blessing of Buff 1, Wang Yutian grew a mocking face, and all the protagonists in the world were his enemies. Since there is no protagonist halo, it depends on social connections. Becoming a villain, under his calculation, the entire Shenwu Empire will become his strength to help him deal with the protagonist. Within the yamen, Wang Yu looked bewildered. Looking at several female subordinates not far away, he had an urge to cry. He succeeded in becoming a delinquent in 100 households, but he was a civil servant. Leading a group of women to do things, although they all look very good, this is not what he wants. Brother Yu. Are you really here? A young man walked in with a stack of official documents and saw Wang Yu's face immediately showing a happy expression. He ran over with a thud. I've heard all about you, you really give your brothers a face. You just killed a powerful statue like this. Wang Yu looked up and glanced at the young man. A name came to mind. Qin Feng. One of Wang Yu's close friends, his father was a minister of the Ministry of Rights and a legitimate member of the Qin family. Are you also a bad person? Wang Yu asked in some surprise. Yeah. Just like you, take on a casual job, take some credit, and prepare for the future. Qin Feng shrugged his shoulders, then leaned closer and said with a beaming expression. Let's not talk about this for now. Maybe you don't know yet. The Zhou family was robbed the day before yesterday, and all the women's families were sent to the education bureau. Didn't you quite like their third daughter Zhou Yuro before? As soon as she entered the education bureau, I secretly took her away. How about it? Tonight, treat me to celebrate your success. I'm not interested. Wang Yu reached out and patted Qin Feng's shoulder. Jiaofang. We live in this world, we need to have pursuits, don't we? What's so fun after joining the education workshop? It's not even difficult. Qin Feng looked bewildered and felt that Wang Yu's words were very reasonable. Who does brother you want to play with? I think Princess 9 is very good. Hiss. Qin Feng's face turned blue and he almost didn't pull it directly. The 9 princesses of the divine martial emperor's court were born by the Empress Dowager. They were exceptionally talented, with stunning crowns and a multitude of fragrances. They were the most brilliant jewels in the imperial capital, not something that garbage and trash like them could covet. Brother Yu. Isn't your pursuit a bit too great? Qin Feng asked weakly. What's the difference between not pursuing and salted fish? Wang Yu had a serious expression on his face. Alright, then you should be busy first. I have some business to attend to. Qin Feng felt a little dizzy and rubbed his head as he walked out. By the way, who's going tonight? Wang Yu asked. Ah. Where are you going? Qin Feng felt even more dizzy. Jiaofang si. Didn't you say you wanted to celebrate for me? Wang Yu looked puzzled and looked at him with a caring and intellectually disabled gaze. But didn't you say you wouldn't go? When did I say I'm not going? Ah, this. Upon careful reflection, Qin Feng realized that there seemed to be none at all. He felt dizzy in his head and thought to Yue, brothers are all here, okay? I'll be there on time. By the way, remember to book that Zhou Yuro for me and don't let anyone take her away. Great. You can rest assured that I will handle things. Qin Feng guarantees with a chest pat. Watching his departing figure, Wang Yu's lips outlined a smile. Although the people I befriended before were all a group of young masters, most of whom were very useless, they had power in their families. These are all important networking relationships that may come in handy in the future. He swore to the lamp that he definitely didn't want to go to any educational institution, and he had no interest in Zhou Yuro. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Shenwu Jiaofang Department. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Shenwu Jiaofang Department. The education department of the Shenwu Emperor, where the birds sing and the swallows dance, and the lights are brightly lit, is a place for officials from various departments and children of aristocratic families to seek pleasure. It is also one of the busiest places in the imperial capital at night. Unlike folk flower houses, most of the women here used to be young ladies with noble backgrounds. Whether in terms of appearance, talent, or even temperament, they are far superior to the outside world. And only receive high-ranking officials and aristocratic young masters. Relatively speaking, their bodies are relatively clean. A luxurious carriage rushed over from a distance, and when the people along the way saw the flag hanging on it, they avoided it from a distance. The carriage stopped arrogantly at the entrance of the educational workshop, and the servant at the door's eyes lit up. He quickly approached and knelt down on the ground. The other servants were too late to come forward, so they all spat lightly. Two dressed young men stepped on the back of the servant and got off the car, casually throwing out an ingot of silver. "Thank you very much, Crown Prince Yu. Thank you very much, Crown Prince Yu." The servant repeatedly thanked him. Wang Yu raised his eyes and looked at this familiar yet unfamiliar place, feeling a surge of emotion in his heart. Dad can finally go to the club openly. Don't worry about being pinned down by Uncle JC anymore. Prince Yu hasn't come for a while. The girls miss you so much. Accompanied by Qin Feng, Wang Yu had just stepped into the Shaojin cave when the madam welcomed him. It seems to be very familiar with him. I have been a bit busy lately, didn't I come whenever I had time? Wang Yu laughed heartily and said, "Call up all the girls. I, the Crown Prince, will not return until I am drunk today." Okay, the madam immediately smiled and smiled. The Jiaofang office is very large, with pavilions, water pavilions, and 9 winding corridors. On the big lake, water pavilions have been built one after another, and there is a performance stage in the center of the lake, constantly performing one performance after another. There are thin gauze maids constantly shuttling among them. This is just a part of the Jiaofang department, a place for young people to play. The older generation is on the other side, in a relatively hidden area, and needs to enter through another gate. As for why it is so regulated, Wang Yu heard that it seems like a father and son came to this Jiaofang Sea to happily meet. Also ordered the same girl. As a result, I beat up my son and asked him to go home and study. The son called his mother to catch the traitor and pulled his head off. Since then, the older generation has separated from the younger generation. Qin Feng designated the best water pavilion, and when the two entered, it was already full of people. "Brother Yu! Brother Yu! Brother Yu!" Seeing Wang Yu enter, everyone stood up and saluted. There's something that's delayed, making everyone wait for a long time. After a polite remark, Wang Yu sat down. Qin Feng pressed the button on the wall, and soon the madam walked in with a large group of mushrooms. Those present were obviously regulars, all of whom were familiar girls. After entering, they quickly took their seats and poured into the arms of their old friend. There was only one woman, with a pale face, standing there feeling somewhat bewildered. She is dressed in a plain dress, which is much more conservative compared to other women. On her delicate face, there seemed to be some tears, and her eyes were slightly red and swollen, as if she had just cried. Wang Yu recognized this woman. It was Zhou Yuro, a famous talented woman in the imperial capital. "What's going on? I haven't been here for a few days, and the girls from the education department don't even understand the rules anymore." Wang Yu pouted and said. "What are you standing there for? Why don't you go and accompany Prince Yu?" The madam pulled Zhou Yuro to Wang Yu's side and apologized with a smile. "Don't take it amiss, Prince Yu. Miss Yuro has just joined the education department, and today is still her first time welcoming guests." A phoenix in distress is not as good as a chicken. Since you have entered the education bureau, you must abide by the rules and treat yourself as the former Miss Tianjin. Can't you? Qin Feng disdains to snort coldly. Not to mention now, but before, it's also your blessing to serve Brother Yu. Put on a ghostly look like your father has died, who should I show you? Another young master said. Take good care of Brother Yu. If you make him unhappy, you will have a better time in the future. The young masters all spoke sarcastically and threatened. There was an excited smile on his face and a gleam in his eyes. This is one of the important reasons why they come to Jiaofang tirelessly. Being able to step on the feet of the once heavenly maiden. Even under my body. That's right. Being able to serve Prince Yu is your blessing. If we want to serve him well, we won't be able to make it. The girls also agreed one after another. Zhou Yuro's tears had already rolled in her eyes. Her body trembled slightly, looking both heartbreaking and wanting to ravage her. Wang Yu played with the wine glass in his hand without saying a word. At this moment, the smile on the madam's face also stiffened a bit, and she knew that Wang Yu was unhappy. He lowered his head and said 2 words in Zhou Yuro's ear. Zhou Yuro trembled all over, forced out a smile, sat next to Wang Yu, leaned in his arms, and picked up the wine jug. "Prince Yu, I will pour wine for you. Let me in, let me in." Just then, a burst of noise came in. A young man in a white robe burst in. Seeing this scene, my eyes were filled with anger, but it didn't happen on the spot. "Tang Bin. What are you doing?" Qin Feng stood up and scolded. "Nature is to redeem Euro." Tang Bin took out a stack of silver bills and handed them to the madam, his face a bit gloomy. "You said before that Euro was suffering from a serious illness and is currently undergoing treatment. Now that she is well, can I redeem her?" This the madam looked at Qin Feng with a troubled expression and turned to him for help. "Tang Bin. I have already booked Zhou Euro for a year in advance. Do you want to redeem yourself? Come back in a year." Qin Feng lifted his chin and said with great pride, "I don't know if anyone will wrap her up again in a year." "You." Tang Bin was furious and finally understood why the madam kept evading. I'm also planning to pack it for a year." A young master looked at Tang Bin with a mocking expression on his face. "Let me do it for 6 months. Then I'll be 3 months. I'll wrap it for my dad for 2 years. Damn it. I hate it when others compare filial piety to me. I'll take care of my grandfather for 3 years. You guys." Tang Bin was so angry that he trembled all over, while Zhou Yuro's tears were already streaming down. "I wish I could die right away." The madam, on the other hand, was overjoyed in her heart, and her mouth was smiling so hard that it almost reached the bottom of her ears. Looking at Tang Yuro's gaze was like looking at a money tree. "You say, what exactly is needed to let Rain Ro go?" Tang Bin exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and asked in a cold voice. "Oh. I can't believe that the Grand Tang Dynasty scholar will have a day to bow down to us playboy brothers. Qin Feng's yin-yang strange airway. Tang Bin has a grudge against Qin Feng and others." At a previous gathering, Wang Yu saw that Zhou Yuro was pretty and asked Qin Feng to invite her. However, she was blocked by Tang Bin and even humiliated. Tang Bin's grandfather was an imperial censor, his father was a great Confucian scholar, his mother was the legitimate daughter of the British Duke, and he himself was a renowned talent in the imperial capital, making extensive friends. For no reason, Wang Yu couldn't do anything to him, and he just had some interest in Zhou Yuro, so he didn't pursue it. But Qin Feng couldn't bear it anymore. He fought against him several times and ended in a disastrous defeat, even being whipped by his father. This made him honest, but the grudge grew stronger and stronger. Well, as soon as the Zhou family was raided, he immediately took over Zhou Yuro. Just to retrieve the venue. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Ice Jade Heart Washing Lotus. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Ice Jade Heart Washing Lotus. Throughout, Wang Yu remained silent. Who said that a playboy must be brainless? Isn't Qin Feng quite smart? Knowing that he couldn't compete with Tang Bin, he attracted him and even all the young masters. Although this game is rough, it has to be said that it really works. Ha ha ha, Yu Xiao, Tang Bin and Zhou Yuro are in love. They used to be a couple, why don't you give me face and let Tang Bin redeem them? A group of people walked over, led by someone who was very strong and had a sunny smile on their face. Today's meal is on me, they said. This person's name is Wu Gang, and he comes from the imperial capital Wu family. Most of his family members hold military positions and are close friends with the Wang family. Although Wang Yu does not have a deep friendship with him, he can still be considered a friend. Most of the people behind him are talented individuals. It seems that Tang Bin has also made preparations. For a moment, everyone's gaze fell on Wang Yu. Especially Qin Feng, there was a hint of pleading in his eyes. If Wang Yu agreed, all the preparations he had made would be in vain. Even to save Wang Yu's face, he couldn't do anything more to Zhou Yuro. After drinking all the wine in his cup, Wang Yu hugged Zhou Yuro's shoulder and looked at Tang Bin, asking a question that puzzled everyone. Do you dislike me? Tang Bin gritted his teeth but did not answer. But even fools can see that he is disgusted, no. More precisely, it should be hatred. Unless it's a BT with a green hat attribute, no one will see their woman being hugged by another man and still like her. Wang Yu's gaze suddenly became sharp. Brother Zhou, it's not that I don't give you face, but robbing girls is a taboo in the entertainment industry. If I give you people today, how can I work in this teaching workshop in the future? This Zhou gang felt a bit stuttered at the moment. That's right. In this educational workshop, only our brother Yu has ever snatched other people's women, and no one has ever snatched our brother Yu's women. Upon hearing these words, Qin Feng felt great joy in his heart. How about this? I'll take a picture of today's flower leader for Yu Xiao in exchange. Zhou Gang gritted his scalp and continued to plead. Tang Bin invited him over this time, but he brought out something that he couldn't refuse. Anyway, he will give it a try. I'll treat you today, and naturally I'll take the picture of this flower queen. It's not your turn yet. Before Wang Yu could speak, Qin Feng directly confronted him. When will it be your turn to interrupt when I talk to Yu Xiao? A fierce gleam flashed in Zhou Gang's eyes, and a murderous aura emanated from him. What's wrong? Do you still want to take action? You have the guts, give it a try. Qin Feng choked his neck, with a stiff front that was completely devoid of any weakness. You. Brother Zhou. Don't go through this muddy water, so as not to damage the relationship between our two families. Wang Yu spoke up and completely silenced his words. Zhou Gang could only sigh helplessly, like a deflated ball, retreated to the side. How on earth do you want to let Yuro go? Tang Bin's face turned pale and he was ready to be humiliated. If you can kneel down, give our brothers a few bumps, and then crawl under my crotch, leaving one hand behind, you can come to redeem them tomorrow. Qin Feng saw it almost and offered the conditions he had been thinking about for a long time. You. Although he had made sufficient psychological preparations, Tang Bin still did not expect Qin Feng to go so far. Our generation of scholars is resolute, willing to bend rather than bend. Qin Feng, you are humiliating my Shenwu Academy. You are humiliating all the scholars in the world. Your father is also a scholar, graduated from Shenwu Academy. Do you even want to humiliate your father? Qin Feng. Are you going to be enemies with students from all over the world? The group of talented people behind Tang Bin exploded in anger and slapped off their big hats. Qin Feng was immediately taken aback. My body trembled slightly, and a surge of urine surged in my heart. Oh. Do you mean that Tang Bin alone can represent the world of scholars? Wang Yu's voice sounded faintly. According to your logic, Qin Feng is not a good person. Are you saying, I am not a good person with divine martial arts, and will I be enemies with scholars from all over the world? Do you want to provoke a war between me, a bad person, and scholars from all over the world? In one sentence, all the talented people shut up. It's not that they can't continue to argue, but they dare not. They can't hold on to Wang Yu's hat, nor dare they. The movement here has also attracted the attention of many people. Everyone is a descendant of an imperial family, and they all know each other to some extent. A talented scholar in the imperial capital, a dandy in the imperial capital. Both of them have very hard backgrounds. Isn't this better than the dance on stage? We are loyal to your majesty, and according to your logic, are you saying that your majesty wants to be enemies with all the scholars in the world? Seeing everyone silent, Qin Feng became enthusiastic. Wang Yu almost kicked him to death. Is this to make oneself a dozen or 9? Do you dare to speak ill of your majesty? Qin Feng, you are so bold. Sure enough, a talented person shouted angrily. Qin Feng's face turned pale and he almost fell to the ground. So what do you want now? Do you want to play a hat game with us? Wang Yu glanced at Tang Bin and others and said, if you want to play, wait for you to become officials and go to the Golden Wan Palace to play. Now get rid of this crown prince, madam. What's going on? That's how your teaching workshop does business. Ah. Oh. The madam wiped her sweat and bowed to Tang Bin and others, saying, everyone, please return to your seats and don't make it difficult for me. This is an ice jade heart-washing lotus. It is the treasure of our Tang family. Tang Bin took out a box, opened it, and a flower that seemed to be carved from ice and jade appeared in front of everyone. It was covered in a faint halo, and there seemed to be spiritual power flowing inside. A gentle breeze blew by, and a faint fragrance came from it. Some discerning people have their pupils tightly narrowed, their faces full of disbelief. Even for those who are unfamiliar with this object, they can take a sip of cold air and even fools can see that this object is not ordinary. If you can spare euro, I am willing to give you this treasure as a gift. Tang Bin looked at Wang Yu and said word by word. Finally taken out. Wang Yu's eyes narrowed slightly. Qin Feng's thoughts had long been guessed by him. The reason he had to go through this muddy water was to force Tang Bin to take out this ice jade to wash the heart lotus. This is something that can alleviate his father's curse. There is no impermeable wall in the world, and the fact that the Marquis of Shenwu cursed him is well known to the big shots, not to mention that he even went to the Tang family to seek this medicine. Tang Bin is not these playboys, he also knows some confidential things. Even if he doesn't know, Wang Yu will still mention it in the end. It's just what he wants, not just this ice jade heart-washing lotus. Brother Tang. You're crazy. This is an ice jade heart-washing lotus, and priceless treasure. A talented person who recognized this thing exclaimed in surprise. I have made up my mind. There's no need to say more. Tang Bin looked at Wang Yu with a burning gaze and said, I know you really need this thing. Give me back euro, and it will be yours. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. I want to bet you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. I want to bet you, what exactly is this ice jade heart-washing lotus? Not far away, a young man whispered to his companions. This is a lotus growing in the far north, in an icy jade pond. It is a first-class natural treasure, although it is a plant, it is like a jade carving. On weekdays, just wear him on your body to cleanse your soul, keep the Lingtai clear, and prevent evil from invading. Even the great demon who cultivates magic skills can wash away their demonic nature and become a normal person if taken, so magical. Is it possible to treat someone who has gone crazy? The young master asked curiously. Of course. Even if the venerable goes berserk, taking it can restore it. Hiss. Gongzi took a cold breath and said, do you know where to sell it? What do you want to eat? Isn't it possible to buy such natural resources and treasures? In the far north, with heavy snow and ice covering thousands of miles, the living conditions are extremely harsh. It's even harder to find the ice jade pool there than to climb to the sky. Even if you find it, you still need to go into the icy and bone-chilling ice jade pool to pick it, which can be said to be a near death. Do you want to buy it? I still want to. Surprisingly so rare. No wonder I haven't heard of it before. I even took out this thing. Tang Bin is really an infatuated person. Humph. The ice jade heart-washing lotus is a precious treasure passed down by the Tang family. It was placed on Tang Bin and was only worn by him. Now he has taken it out to exchange for a girl from the education department. I want to see how he will explain it to the Tang family in the future. Things are really getting more and more interesting. Today's trip didn't come in vain. Damn it, I knew I had already taken care of Euro this week before Qin Feng. Hurry ahead of him. Do you think it's so easy to rush? His father is the Minister of Rites, and this teaching workshop is under his father's management. Okay. Now she belongs to you. You can take her away and I'll redeem her. Wang Yu pushed Zhou Yuro directly over. Tang Bin didn't say anything and threw the box to him. As for Qin Feng, he not only did not feel disappointed, but also smiled even more brightly. I feel comfortable all over and my thoughts are clear. Even if he was foolish, he could guess that Tang Bin would not have any good fruit to eat when he returned home. They may even be expelled from their homes. Having caused the Tang family to bleed so much, they have avenged everything. Yuro, are you okay? Tang Bin held Zhou Yuro in his arms and asked with a concerned expression. At this moment, Zhou Yuro was already crying bitterly and said, Bin, I'm sorry for causing you trouble. I'm sorry. Between you and me, there's no need to say these things. Tang Bin's face showed a gentle smile. What a heartbreaking love story. From today on, their story will surely be sung in the streets and alleys. The name Tang Bin, by Jiang, is renowned in the imperial capital. And Wang Yu's name is likely to stink on the streets and be despised by the world. I thought this matter was over, but the onlookers were still a bit disappointed. Can't this ignite at all? But when Tang Bin turned around, Wang Yu called out to him. Brother Tang. Did you just leave like this? What else do you want? Tang Bin turned around, his anger in his eyes undisguised. I want to bet with you. Wang Yu played with the wine glass in his hand and said calmly. What are you gambling on? Bet on your family's heart of ice and jade. Wang Yu's words are not surprising and he never stops dying. You. Tang Bin was struck by lightning and stood stunned on the spot. Everyone was also in an uproar. Many people in the Tang family know about the ice jade washing lotus. But I haven't heard of them having such a rare treasure like the heart of ice and jade. What kind of ghost is this ice jade heart? The young master asked curiously before. Guru. After swallowing heavily, his companion explained. This thing is even more amazing. It is also a natural treasure born in the ice jade pool, but not every ice jade pool has it. Within 100 ice jade pools, it may not be possible to conceive an ice jade heart. Moreover, it is located at the bottom of the ice jade pool and has a small volume. If you want to find and take it out, it is difficult to compare it to reaching the sky. You should know that even if you are a great power to transform into a mortal realm, you cannot stay in the icy jade pool for too long. Oh. It's so rare. What's the use of this thing? This item, from Yin to cold, is a coveted item for those who practice ice-based martial arts. Wearing it can absorb the pure cold ice spiritual power from it, not only greatly improving the cultivation speed, but also enhancing the quality of spiritual power. At the same time, it can also be used as a weapon and is the nemesis of fire-type warriors. There are many other wonderful uses, and this is truly the ultimate treasure against heaven. The man did not deliberately lower his voice. Most of the people present were warriors, with clear ears and eyes. Some people who did not know what ice jade heart was now understood. They all take a cold breath backwards. Surprisingly, the Tang family hides this item. I don't know how it came about. After a long time, Tang Bin regained his senses, exhaled a soft breath, and stared fixedly at Wang Yu. What is your bet? This ice jade heart washing lotus, and this one. Wang Yu took out a token. The size of a palm, made of gold, surrounded by carved dragons and phoenixes, with a large amnesty character in the middle. At this moment, guests from afar gathered together. When they saw this token, everyone took a deep breath, and then the whole place fell silent like death. Brother Yu, have you been playing too much, haven't you? After an unknown amount of time, Qin Feng stuttered. A sentence ignited the whole room, and the scene immediately became noisy. Unexpectedly gambling on the divine martial amnesty order, are you crazy? A spendthrift. I thought Wang Yu was enlightened, but it seems I'm too young. Surprisingly gambling, the imperial capital has not appeared in such a gambling game for a long time, has it? This trip is really worth it. The heart of ice and jade may not be recognized by many people, but no one would be unaware of the divine martial amnesty order. Those who hold this order may be pardoned from all crimes except rebellion. Remember. It's all crimes. In principle, even if you marry a princess or even a queen, you can be pardoned. Back then, the Marquis of Shenwu set foot in Baizang and marched unstoppably, breaking through 78 strongholds and reclaiming the vast land of the Nashka Mountains into the realm of divine martial arts, making immortal contributions for generations to come. Your Majesty hereby grants this order as a token of commendation. As an official in the court, where can one not make mistakes? Even if you are upright, if you stand in the wrong team, you will still be raided and wiped out every minute. With this divine amnesty order, you don't have to worry about these anymore. And it has no time limit, which can ensure the safety of future generations. This is something that major families dream of. At the same time, it is also an honor of the Duke of Xuanwei's mansion and a way for His Majesty to express his trust in the Duke of Xianwei. Wang Yu dares to take out this kind of thing for a gamble. Wang Yu is not only a black sheep, but also too bold. Aren't he afraid to anger Long Yen? How about it? If you win, not only can you retrieve the ice jade heart-washing Lotus, but you can also grant amnesty to the Zhou family, instantly solving all the problems. Wang Yu's face showed a smile and said, of course. You can also keep it. In the future, this will become your Tang family's life-saving talisman. Brother Bin. Zhou Yuro looked at Tang Bin with a pleading expression on her face. She knows Wang Yu has ill intentions, but she can't do anything about it. Her relatives are still suffering. If there is no opportunity, it's okay, but the opportunity is right in front of us. Thank you for the reward of 1500 coins for Raspberry Bean. End of this chapter.